Welcome back on this Independence Day as members of our armed forces are being honored and celebrated at the White House and around the country. The U.S. military is in the middle of what is a massive recruiting drought. In 2022, the U.S. Army had its most difficult recruiting year since it ended the draft in 1973. Other branches are struggling too, leaving the Army, Navy, and Air Force roughly 30,000 recruits short of their goals. There are all sorts of explanations for the shortfall, including the pandemic, a tight labor market, but one reason appears to be the experiences of veterans themselves. According to the Wall Street Journal, more and more veterans are urging family members against enlisting. That does not bode well for an Army where nearly 80% of all new recruits have a family member who served. And joining me now is the retired Army Colonel, Jack Jacobs. He is, of course, a Medal of Honor recipient and an NBC News military analyst. Colonel Jack, on this holiday, as always, we say thank you for your service. And this is a heck of a headline about the all-volunteer force in the U.S. right now. The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mike Mullen, told the Wall Street Journal about prospective recruits. He said the following: influencers are not telling them to go into the military. Moms, dads, uncles, coaches, pastors do not see it as a good choice. What's your take?
Well, it used to be a good choice, and we had generations of people joining the military because previous generations had. I did because my father had served in the Second World War in the Army in New Guinea and the Philippines, and I thought it was my obligation to serve. But a lot has happened since we decided to have an all-volunteer force. The result has been far fewer people going into the military to start with, which leaves far fewer people trying to influence those who would otherwise come in. It's interesting to note that a very large percentage of people who enter the armed forces now, something on the order of 78 or 79%, have a family member who has served, but only 30% have a parent who served. And that number is coming down too. In an environment in which you could do just about anything and make some money, coming into the military seems to be an option that not many people are selecting.
Well, you make a good point there, right? And now there's this new competition for those individuals, for those potential recruits right now, where often going into the military is a way to sort of secure your future, your education would be guaranteed, it'd be paid for. But now there are a lot of other routes that young people in this country are finding to do that, separate from the military. And it's not just that. There's obviously sort of a fatigue associated with the recent war.
Don't nobody want to fight for your fucking punk-ass military, man. But I want to say shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Kakadash. I'm going to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of the great millstone that rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. News in the gospel brought lift up the stern of Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the spirit. There's an article I have here. It says retired combat Marine recommends bringing back limited draft because the fact people are not signing up for the United States military no more, because for one thing, you have a over influx of wars that's being fought on all sides. Second of all, the military is spread out too thin. Third of all, you have a bunch of momos in the military, okay? Don't ask, don't tell. All that madness that they're conjuring up in the military. And nobody wants to fight for this country anymore because they're realizing that you Americans, or the American government, the Edomite government, I say it that way, has unjustly went and invaded people's land just for sheer greed and torture and tyranny, man. And people don't want that kind of blood on their hands. And another aspect of it too is people who are in a cowardice state of mind, because it's a term, I don't know, I don't really get it correct, but they say that strong men breed hard times. Strong men make easy times. Strong men breeds easy times, and weak men makes hard times. So you have a bunch of weak men that's calling themselves men today in Babylon the Great, which just, they're not men. They're simps. You know what I'm saying? They're simps. They have no backbones. They're timid. They're soft. They're feminine. They grew up with their mothers. They have no type of backbone. They have no type of how can I say? They don't have courage anymore, man. Okay, post World War II, the typical male is just, he's through. He's done. Even the men in the military, they're a bunch of damn metrosexuals, man. You see what I'm saying? So this is a comment It says, as a retired combat vet, I approve of anyone not signing up. Because we know that they don't do their veterans right either. You know, like a scripture saying, Sirach, it tells you that basically one of the things that angers him is a man of war that's not stood by, that's not taken care of, roughly paraphrasing. When you are a veteran, or you are a civil worker for a government, you are supposed to be taken care of forever, man. You should not want anything. It's a lot of soldiers that's coming back from the military with disabilities, man, disabled, mental agony, and yet these men are only getting 30-40% disability. They're not even getting 50%. And men are fighting years and decades to get this disability just to be taken care of, and they put you through the goddamn ringer. You know, I know a brother personally that, man, finally got his full benefits, but he's been out of the military over 7-8 years, man, and they was fucking him. You know, they wanted to give him 60, then 80%, then 90%. If you're gonna give me 90%, give me 100%, man. You know, and even then, when they send you your checks, they still, I don't know if it's tax-free, I'm not sure. But even then, it's like they're peed on that, man, because they're not giving you enough to sustain your living. Like, they just say if 2016, a retired military vet check may be $3,000 a month. That's supposed to adjust due to inflation. But yet, they're not going to adjust it. I don't think they give you more. You might have to apply for the difference, if I'm not mistaken. But overall, they're not going to give you the cost of living, man. So people say, fuck this military. You know, because you don't treat your people right. It says, the way they've propped up wars, yet leave fellow Americans insecure, poor, hungry, homeless, literally in the dust. And Esau gonna reap that, man. You know? So, hey, nobody is fighting for this fucking country no more. And hey, they gonna have to bring back a draft. They gonna have to recruit all you young old blockalites out there, you old blockians. Okay, you what's this guy's name? YMN Mellies, all you weirdos out there. They gonna have to recruit you because you know what I'm saying? You the only defense for real. Most veterans are old as hell. They can't do anything. So the only thing they can do is recruit the lower class, man. You 18, 19-year-old. I think you can enlist all the way up until your late 30s. And if you already was enlisted, they can call your ass back to active duty. You got 40, 50-year-old men fighting the military, going to war. You know, those colonels and lieutenants and sergeants, them dudes ain't young no more. Them dudes in their fucking 50s, sometimes 60s, man. They'll call you out of retirement if they need to. But it says retired combat Marine recommends bringing back limited draft. It says, could the U.S. military bring back a draft after 50 years? It says on July 27, 1973, Defense Secretary Melvin R. Laird announced the end of the military draft following the end of the Vietnam War. And the Lord is so cold, man. The Lord is beautiful, bro, because all these legislations from the First Amendment to the doing away with the draft, all this was really set up in benefits of the prophets, man, because a lot of brothers have military backgrounds. And honestly speaking, a lot of us have still been in this predicament if it wasn't for the truth, man. Okay, if they kept this on as to what it was, a lot of brothers have been called over there. You wouldn't really have any prophets on the streets, for real, because we all be fighting a fucking war. But the Most High has made it to the point we got First Amendment rights and we don't have to deal with this madness anymore. This is why they're going to forcibly bring back this draft, man. And a lot of it ain't even going to be voluntary. When they say we're going to draft you, meaning they may come in the middle of the night, kick down your door, put a black bag over your head and throw your ass in the back of an SUV. Before you know it, you at your nearest detention facility saying, look, we need to train you up for this war. You know what I'm saying? If you consider the desert a deserter or a high flight risk, we just gonna put two in your melon right now and be done with your ass and dump your ass in a ditch outside the back and let the alligators eat you, man. It's gonna be like that. They gonna come and they gonna literally grab up Jake and force you in this war, man. Ain't gonna be no, well, you have 10 days to come down to your local U.S. Armed Forces and sign up. Nah, man, they gonna put a hit squad out. They gonna literally go and try to come at the people, man, because they gonna need the numbers, because this war on the third way is looking very bad for America, and we know the end of it. It says Laird announced the end of the military draft following the end of the Vietnam War, because for one thing, the Vietnam War was just totally unjust, man. They had them soldiers over there, them getting killed unjustly. They came back on opioids, you know, high out their damn minds. A lot of men still haven't recovered from Vietnam. you know, and a lot of them Vietnam vets, they didn't take care of them at all. So a lot of them result to fucking robbery, murder, crime, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them died from overdoses, alcohol poisoning, all types of stuff, and they showed you that in that movie Dead Presidents, man. But it says, put the U.S. bring back a limited draft to help the war between Russia and Ukraine. He gonna need to. But it says in a recent opinion piece on military.com, Joe Plinser, a retired combat decorated Marine Lieutenant Colonel, all them damn titles don't mean nothing. You still going to slavery, boy. But it says, who served as the strategic advisor for communications to 3 successive commandments of the Marine Corps from 2010 to 2015, suggested that all the volunteer forces has reached a breaking point, and that the fastest and most effective way to resolve this recruiting crisis is to change how we recruit. It says, plan solution is to have the military recruit new troops for 11 months out of the year, and then have the selective service draft to the rest of to meet the military's needs. It says, Plinter did mention Ukraine in his article, but could the U.S. bring back the draft if the U.S. did put boots on the ground in Ukraine, considering our military is already stretched thin following the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and recruitment issues? And you wouldn't be stretched so thin if you wasn't trying to occupy everybody's sovereignty, man. Like, you got military bases set up in fucking Iran, you got in China, you got Taiwan, you got bases in Brazil, you got military bases everywhere which you're not authorized to have them at. And you wonder why you don't have enough troops to fight your war, you know. But it says, on July 13, President Biden ordered 3,000 reservists to be ready for Europe's deployment. It says this have been active several times in the past 75 years, usually preceding war. See, these are wars and rumors of wars, singling that the U.S. involvement with Ukraine may be about to expand, and they know it is. It says President Harry Truman called up 938,379 reservists during the Korean War. John Kennedy called up 155,000 reservists during the Berlin Crisis of 61. Kennedy also called up 14,200 members of the Air Force Reserve during the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Johnson called up 35,280 reservists from the Tet Offensive in Vietnam. President H.W. Bush, which is Daddy Bush, activated IRR troops in 1991 Operation Desert Storm. President Clinton activated 33,102 reservists from the Kosovo conflict. And President George W. Bush, which is Baby Bush, okay, because you got Herbert Walker Bush and then you got W. Bush, activated reservists following 9/11 attacks. And it says President George Bush activated reservists to support operating Enduring Freedom. Okay, so it says, she said, there's no way in hell my kids are going to be drafted to fight in some bullshit war so politicians and globalists can get rich. She said, I'm done with wars. My poor kids dying for bullshit. See, people are fucking waking up to it, man. Why fighting for your fucking ass? You literally gonna have to go and kidnap people in they sleep or something. Cause ain't nobody fighting for you, bro. Alright, you forget about it. So this is the book of 2 Edda 16, and I'm gonna start at verses 32. It says, the earth should be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and our ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man should travel therethrough. And the virgins shall mourn, having no bridegrooms, and the women shall mourn, having no husbands, and the daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. And in the wars should thy bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands should perish of famine. Right, now wars is talking about the world wars, okay, this current conflict, because they're going to have to reinstate a draft, and also the skirmishes and the wars that's going to be invaded on American soil, man. Because I don't know, but I've been seeing a lot of these border migrants. I've been seeing them here in Kansas City, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went to the Walmart yesterday to pick up some celery and stuff like that. And I'm seeing people like I ain't never seen it before. You know, they look like they straight from Venezuela, some goddamn where. You know, and they look at you kind of strange a little bit, but nonetheless, they're right in our neighborhoods now, man. Okay, 20,000-30,000 people, man, at a time. Their people are here. You know, a foreign invasion. A lot of them are of military age to fight. You know, a lot of them are sleeper cells, and some of them are just people that's looking to get their life on to work. You know. But regardless of it, it says they should perish in the wars, man. Okay, the wars. Because they're going to have to bring back a drive. So a lot of you Keishas out there, you getting ready to be single and laid the waste because your hood niggas Yo, dreadhead lazies out there. Hey, they getting ready to go to war. Hey, you old block. Hey, man, Esau. Where everybody go and recruit them gang banging niggas. That's your defense right there. You know, they so quick to kill each other. Nah, put a gun in their hand and let them go and kill your enemy. See how fair they do with that. You know, since niggas always talking about, you know, they got the blicks on deck. Nah, man, send these young niggas to war and let them fight your war. That go your defense then. You got kill boys, grab them up. You know what I'm saying? Grab up the snatch and grab these niggas up and watch them cry like big babies, man. You know, they quick to roll on their own brothers and sisters, but yet, when you want to fight for a national cause, which the wars are wicked anyway, you know, they ain't gonna want to do it, man. All right. So this is the book of Joel 2, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 20. It says, "But I remove from you far." It says, "But I will remove far off from you the northern army." Now I looked up something with the northern army, and this is what I found, and this is on point. It says, "Who's the northern army?" And it says the northern army, North Hag, is the NATO military formation, compromising a Western European Army Corps during the Cold War as part of NATO's forward defense in Federal Republic of Germany. Wow. Okay, but we know predominantly this northern army is talking about America, aka Babylon the Great. Okay, because I don't know why, but this particular breakdown, I always seem to forget what the C's are talking about. I can never make it stick, but I have an idea. It says here, "I will drive him into a land barren and desolate," which I believe is Saudi Arabia, if I'm not mistaken, which is faced towards the East Sea. I believe the East Sea is the Dead Sea. I always forget this breakdown. It just never sticks with me, so Salakia. If I'm wrong, then, you know, brothers correct me, but I'm believing because I looked it up. It says faced towards the East Sea, and its hinder parts the utmost sea, which I believe is the Mediterranean. It says, "And his stink should come up, and his ill savior should come up, because he have done great things," man. Great things like what? Put the nations in slavery, man. Okay, and afflict the children of Israel, causing wars to be fought unjustly, man. You know, so hey, man, that's just pretty much it. There's several scriptures we can go into, but they gonna have to bring back a draft here. It's looking like they gonna have to do that any day now. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And with that, shalom and above all, shalom.